Hello everyone and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today we're going to be talking about Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. This film is directed by George Miller and is a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, also directed by George Miller, which was an entry in the Mad Max franchise, also directed by George Miller. In this film, instead of Charlize Theron, it is Anya Taylor-Joy playing Furiosa, and Chris Hemsworth plays the lead villain of Dementus. Before I do a deep dive into the review of the film, there is a couple things I want to point out that I think are important to point out to people who want to see the film. While this is obviously very much so in the same world and is a true prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, it is a very different type of movie than Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road is a 2-hour chase movie with incredible characters, resonant themes, and incredible practical action. This film is a 2.5-hour epic character drama that also has incredible action, resonant themes, and deep characters. But it is not the same high-octane adrenaline rush that Fury Road is. And I want to kind of set that expectation for people, because you could even see in my screening people kind of having to adjust as the movie was playing of like, oh, okay, this is a different type of movie. I need to kind of be ready for that. Mad Max Fury Road is a borderline masterpiece, and I think this film belongs to be right alongside it, if not just slightly below it, for reasons I'll get into. But overall, this film fucking rules. It's such an awesome movie. And there are obviously a lot of reasons for that. One, the art direction, the cinematography, the visual effects, all fantastic. There are a couple of VFX shots that are pretty shoddy, specifically when you're in a wide and you see kind of characters fall off of the vehicles that they're riding. Like that kind of could have been a little bit better, but every other VFX looks incredible. And while there isn't as much practical action as Fury Road, it does exist in the film, and when you see it, it is awesome. And last point in the comparison to the kind of action from Fury Road, there will be people who are upset by the fact that Furiosa, most of the action scenes do have a lot more visual effects components than Fury Road did. How I was viewing it is Fury Road needed to have a lot of practical action as much as possible because it's a 2-hour chase movie, and so you needed to make that feeling of that realness, that in-camera action, basically be its own character in the film for that movie to really work as well as it does. Furiosa, with this sprawling epic story, means also it's visually bigger. The action goes even more dangerous, and with that, you need to have those VFX elements, and I think tonally for this film, those action scenes work, because the choreography was also amazing. But getting more into it, I think the script for this film is really strong, and I think that Anya Taylor-Joy obviously does a fantastic job. And another actor I want to point out is Alila Brown, however you say the name. She plays young Furiosa in this film, and my God, for a younger performer, she knocks it out of the park. She's in a lot more of the movie than you think she is. She's in a ton of it, and she really stood her ground. She did a great job. But performance-wise, the scene stealer in this movie is Chris Hemsworth. He gives one of the best performances of his career, and you can tell he's having a hell of a time doing it. He is funny, he's menacing, he's terrifying, he's charming, he's everything that a complex villain needs to be. And the movie also really works as a true prequel to Fury Road in ways that, yes, there are fun little Easter eggs and kind of origin stories for things that you see in Fury Road, but it's really mostly about this Furiosa character and what you learn about her. And the thing that you have to be careful with prequels is if there's a mystery about a character in a film and then you explore it in a prequel, you may lose that mystery, or the character in that original film may be less interesting if you find out the mystery and it's not that satisfying. Everything you learn about Furiosa's character is very satisfying and lines up perfectly with Fury Road. And while this film is not the 2-hour chase that Mad Max Fury Road is, this movie is exhilarating as hell. It's very exciting, and the action is great. More importantly, though, it succeeds in something that a lot of prequels fail in, and that you as an audience, if you've seen Fury Road, you already know where this character ends up and what happens on their journey home. But the movie does an excellent job of kind of showing this character evolve in so many ways that when the film ends, it ends in a way that's still satisfying, even though you know how her story eventually goes on to end. You still feel that you have seen a completed story, and it adds something new to Fury Road when you watch it. Something that you get to a lot of in this film is the actual politics of how the wasteland kind of works, and you get to see a lot of things that are just kind of mentioned in dialogue in Fury Road, and seeing kind of the political power dynamics of everything in this whack-ass world was very intriguing and kind of how it all works. And they, plot-wise, use that political dynamic to show how Furiosa makes herself useful, makes herself available, and how she kind of grows as a person. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a particular thing with her character and how she knows she has to stay in a place, but she can't be herself because of something that happened. She has to kind of do something different, but she can't leave. And her solution to that was so genius in how it worked. It really added an element to the movie of just knowing exactly the character that was on the page, on the screen, and the story it was telling. It was all perfectly synchronized. As for negatives, the movie is 2.5 hours long, and you do feel its runtime. However, with that being said, me personally, I don't know what you could remove, and if the movie was 4 hours long, I would also watch the whole thing, because while you do feel the length, everything that you're viewing and seeing is genuinely interesting and visually pleasing. Oh, and we can't talk about this movie without talking about the score by Junkie XL, Tom Hulkenberg. He fucking brought it again. I love his score for Fury Road, and his score for this is arguably better. The only other negative I can think of other than feeling the runtime is there are some beats that are repeated in the movie that the beat themselves didn't have to be repeated, but the element of the story that they're in, you couldn't remove it or cut it. It's kind of between a rock and a hard place there, so I understand why it was placed where it was, but you kind of do feel like, okay, we've done this beat, let's go, but it does work in the overall storytelling. So other than, the movie is a little bit long and there are some repeated beats, I fucking loved everything else about this movie. It's definitely in my top 5 of the year so far, maybe even top 3. I'd have to really kind of sit down and look at it. But yeah, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, absolutely see it in a theater. It is amazing, and it will make for a great double feature with Fury Road when the 4K comes out, and I will be doing that. And once you see it, what did you think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.